Hello everyone, welcome to this video. And in this video, we're going to discuss about congruence. So let's start. Now, congruence in geometry, we say it's same shape and size. When we say shape, it is the shape of the polygon, and then or any closed figure, we could say that. And then when we say size, it means its measurement. So let's go on some more ideas about congruence. So when we say same shape, so there are polygons or any closed figure, because we could work that as well with circles and other conic sections that will be more advanced. However, we'll focus now on the triangle. Okay, so triangle is a three-sided polygon. So let's look at now other ideas. So another idea is what we call same size. So what does same size matters is on the what is measurable. So primary parts of a polygon such as the vertices, angles, and sides. However, two of the three has measures such as the angles and the sides. Okay, now let's have this one. So there is an implication if there are congruent figures. So given triangle ABC is congruent to triangle XYZ. So that's the sign for congruent. So now let's have this conditional. If triangle ABC is congruent to triangle XYZ, then the corresponding parts of the triangles are congruent. So we're now looking now on two statements such as triangle ABC is congruent to triangle XYZ, and the corresponding parts of the triangles are congruent. So you can watch the previous video, which is correspondence. So let's go into angles. So angle A is congruent to angle X because that is one of the implications. So all the angles are going to be congruent. So another is angle B is congruent to angle Y, and angle C is congruent to angle Z. Now, when it comes to the sides, we have segment AB is congruent to segment XY. We have segment AC is congruent to segment XZ. And then we have the last one would be segment BC is congruent to YZ. So let's go deeper on with this one. Let's have now the other implication. So the other implication, if there's a congruent side and congruent angles, the implication is that there would be an equal measure for the angles and an equal measure for the sides. So if you have congruent angles, therefore, the conclusion would have be the angles have equal measures if they have if the two sides are congruent, so we can that would imply that the measures are the same. So here is an example. So triangle ABC is congruent to triangle XYZ. So when you go on mapping, so you have now congruent angles, so and congruent sides. So we have now angle A is congruent to angle X, angle B congruent to angle Y, angle C is congruent to angle Z. We have segment AB is congruent to segment XY, segment AC is congruent to segment XZ, and then segment BC is congruent to segment YZ. So as you can see, this is now the implications in the brown. So we say that the measure of angle A is equal to measure of angle X, measure of angle B is equal to measure of angle Y, measure of angle A. Let me have a pointer so that you would you would see that. So once again, measure of angle A is equal to measure of angle X, measure of angle B is equal to measure of angle Y, measure of angle A is equal to measure of angle Z. And then we have now AB is congruent to XY, or the measure of the sides are just the same. AC is equal to XZ, and then BC is equal to YZ. So let's have now more example. So given triangle RST is congruent to triangle XLM, so this is now triangle RST, as you can see, RST. And then this is now triangle KLM. So as you can see, there is a correspondence. So we could say that R corresponds to L to K, S corresponds to L, and then T corresponds to M. Am I right? So there is no question, what are the congruent parts? So we could say that in angles, we have now angle R is congruent to angle K. And then we could say that the implication of this statement is that measure of angle R is equal to measure of angle K. So if this is 60, therefore, measure of angle K is also 60. So another statement for congruent parts is that angle S is congruent to angle L. Then we could say that measure of angle S is equal to measure of angle L. And then the last one would be angle T is congruent to angle M, that implies that measure of angle T is equal to measure of angle M. So when it comes to the sides, for an example, we have now segment RS is congruent to segment KL, then it implies that RS is equal to KL. So RS, for example, if this is 5, the measurement of RS is 5, we could say that KL is 5. Clear? However, the answers here are this one. However, these are just the implications, so you could look at that. Another, RT or segment RT is congruent to segment KM. That implies that RT is equal to KM. And the last part, which is ST, is congruent to LM. Then ST is equal to LM. So that's how you look at it, the congruent figures. Okay? So I hope you learn on the basic of the congruence. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you could watch as well the video on correspondence so that you would have an idea of what are the corresponding parts, and you can now work on with the congruence, which is the basic idea is same shape and same